The dollar bill hit my chest before I even realized what was happening. It fluttered down slowly, brushing against my collarbone like an insult that didn't need words. The music was loud, too loud. The bass from the speakers shook the glass in my hand. Laughter exploded around me. Someone whistled. And then he said it. "I'll take care of her tonight." His voice wasn't slurred, it wasn't playful. It was confident, calculated, like he'd just bought something at an auction. For a second, I thought I misheard him. Maybe the tequila was messing with my head. Maybe the chaos of the party twisted his words into something uglier than he meant. But then I saw her. Madison. She didn't look shocked, she didn't look offended, she didn't look at me at all. She just smiled. The kind of smile that forms slowly, deliberately. The kind that says, "I know something you don't." The party was at Jake's penthouse in downtown Chicago, floor-to-ceiling windows, city lights stretching into the night like a promise. Champagne bottles lined up on the marble counter. People I barely knew laughing too loud, dressed too expensive. I never liked these kinds of parties. Madison did. She was glowing that night. Red satin dress, heels that clicked sharply on the hardwood floors. Her hair curled perfectly around her shoulders. Every guy in the room noticed her, and I tried to pretend that didn't bother me. But it did. The guy who tossed the dollar, his name was Trevor. Trevor Grant. Trust fund baby, always wearing a Rolex like he needed people to know his time was more valuable than theirs. Perfect jawline. White teeth. That lazy smirk that made people think he was charming instead of dangerous. He'd been circling Madison all night. And I'd seen it. The way his hand lingered too long when he handed her a drink. The way he leaned in close, whispering something that made her laugh. The way she didn't pull away. When he tossed that dollar at me, it wasn't about money. It was about ownership. Humiliation. A public declaration. I looked down at the bill on the floor, just $1, crumpled, dirty. The room felt smaller, hotter, like the oxygen had been sucked out. "Relax, man," Trevor said, raising his hand slightly as if this was all a joke. "It's just a joke." A joke? I looked at Madison, waiting for her to say something, anything. She crossed her arms slowly, tilted her head. "You're being dramatic," she said softly. Dramatic? I felt my face burn. "So that's funny to you?" I asked, my voice shaking despite my effort to stay calm. "It's a party," she replied. "Don't ruin it." Don't ruin it. I bent down and picked up the dollar bill. I don't know why. Pride. Instinct. Maybe I didn't want it lying there like proof. Trevor chuckled. "See, he picked it up." Laughter exploded again. That's when something inside me cracked. Not loud, not violent. Just a clean, silent fracture. I had been with Madison for 3 years. 3 years of late-night phone calls. 3 years of saving up to move into our apartment in River North. 3 years of telling my friends she was different. 3 years of believing she respected me. And in one moment, I felt like a stranger standing in someone else's life. "You know what?" I said quietly. "You're right, it's just a party." I smoothed the dollar bill between my fingers and handed it back to Trevor. "For the performance," I added. For a split second, his smirk faltered. The room went quieter. Madison stared at me confused, almost annoyed. "What is your problem?" she snapped. "My problem?" I let out a short laugh. "You let him talk about you like you're." "Like I'm what?" she cut in sharply. I stopped. Because the truth was uglier than I wanted to say out loud. Trevor stepped closer to her, not touching, just close enough to make a statement. "She can make her own choices, man," he said smoothly. "You don't own her." Own her? The irony almost made me dizzy. I looked at Madison again. "Do you want to go home?" I asked her quietly. "With me." It was simple, direct, an invitation to choose. Her eyes flickered for a second, just a second. Then she looked at Trevor. He didn't say anything, just held her gaze. She hesitated. That hesitation lasted maybe 2 seconds. But it felt like a lifetime. "I think I'm going to stay," she said finally. The music swelled again, like the room was exhaling. "Stay. Not come home. Not talk later. Stay." With him, I asked. She rolled her eyes. Stop making it dramatic. Trevor smiled wider now. I'll make sure she's safe, he said. Promise. Safe. The word felt like gasoline on a fire. I nodded slowly. Right, I said. I grabbed my jacket from the couch. No one stopped me. No one cared. The party swallowed the moment like it was nothing. As I reached the elevator, I heard Madison's laugh again. It echoed down the hallway. The elevator doors closed, and I saw my reflection in the mirror. I didn't look angry. I looked embarrassed. Humiliated. Small. The ride down felt endless. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't check it. When I stepped outside, the Chicago air hit my face like a slap. Cold, sharp, real. I walked 2 blocks before I finally pulled my phone out. 3 missed calls. All from Madison. A text message. You're overreacting. Don't make this a big deal. Overreacting. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then another message came through. Trevor S. just being Trevor. Don't be insecure. Insecure. That word hurt more than the dollar. I typed a response. Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. Finally, I wrote, have fun. 3 dots appeared almost instantly. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Then nothing. I slipped my phone back into my pocket and started walking toward the parking garage. Every step felt heavier than the last. 3 years. I replayed the moment in my head over and over. The dollar, the laugh, the hesitation. The choice. When I got to my car, I sat there for a while, staring at the steering wheel. Something didn't feel right. Not just emotionally. Physically. Like a warning buzzing under my skin. Madison wasn't reckless. Flirty, yes. Attention-loving, yes. But reckless? No. And Trevor, there was something about the way he said, I'll take care of her tonight. It wasn't playful. It was possessive. Calculated. I checked my phone again. No new messages. I started the engine. Told myself to go home. Told myself to let her stay. Told myself she was an adult. But as I pulled out of the garage, I didn't head toward our apartment. I drove back toward the penthouse. I don't know what I was expecting. An apology. A fight. Closure. Maybe I just didn't want that night to end with me walking away. As I parked across the street from Jake's building, I saw something that made my stomach drop. Trevor's black Porsche was gone. And so was Madison's car. My chest tightened. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I texted, where are you? No response. The city suddenly felt enormous. Cold. Unforgiving. And for the first time that night, humiliation was replaced with something else. Fear. Because the way Trevor had looked at her. The way she had hesitated. The way he had promised she'd be safe. It didn't feel like a joke anymore. It felt like a setup. And I had just left her there. I must have called her 20 times in the next 15 minutes. Each one went straight to voicemail. My chest felt tight, like someone had wrapped a cable around my ribs and was slowly pulling it tighter. I told myself I was overthinking, that she was fine, that she was probably in his car, laughing, posting stories, proving some twisted point. But Madison always answered. Even when we fought. Even when she was mad. She answered. I opened her Instagram. Her story had updated 2 minutes ago. My heart dropped. It was a short clip, the inside of a car, dark, city lights streaking past the window, Trevor's voice in the background. Best decision you made tonight. Then Madison's laugh. But it didn't sound right. It wasn't the bright, performative laugh she used at parties. It was softer. Nervous. And the camera cut off abruptly. No caption. No emoji. Just that. I replayed it 5 times. Her face wasn't in it. Why wasn't her face in it? I tried calling again. Voicemail. I started driving without thinking. I didn't know where Trevor lived exactly, but I had an idea. He'd bragged about his place before. Lakeview, high-rise condo. Best skyline view in the city, he'd said once, like it was a personality trait. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My phone buzzed. Finally. A text from Madison. "Stop calling." That was it. No explanation. No location. Just 2 words. "Stop calling." I typed back instantly. "Are you okay?" No response. Another text from her came a minute later. "I'm fine, go home." Fine. The word felt rehearsed. I called again. Voicemail. Then my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I answered immediately. "Hello." Silence for a second. Then Trevor's voice. "Man, you really need to chill." My blood ran cold. Put Madison on the phone. "She's busy." "Busy?" "With what?" I snapped. He laughed, slow, deliberate. "Don't be like that. She chose to come with me, you saw it." I didn't ask who she chose, I asked to speak to her. Another pause. Muffled movement in the background. Then I heard her. "Just tell him I'm fine," Madison said faintly. Faintly. "Madison," I shouted, "are you okay?" "I'm fine," she repeated, but her voice trembled slightly. Trevor came back on. "She's fine," he said smoothly. "You're embarrassing yourself. Let me talk to her alone." He sighed dramatically. "Bro, she doesn't want to talk to you alone." That word again. "Want?" "She can say that to me herself," I shot back. Another long pause. Then suddenly, the line went dead. I tried calling back. The number was off. My stomach dropped. I slammed my palm against the steering wheel. Think. This wasn't just jealousy anymore. Something was off. Madison never let someone else speak for her like that. Never. I sped toward Lakeview, weaving through traffic. My mind replayed every second of the party. Her hesitation. The way she avoided my eyes when she said she was staying. Was she trying to prove something? Was she trying to make me jealous? Or had she miscalculated? My phone buzzed again. A text from Madison. "I told you I'm fine, don't come here." Don't come here. There it was. Here. Which meant she knew I might. Which meant she knew something wasn't right. I texted back, "Send me the address." No reply. Another message popped up seconds later. "If you come, I swear we're done." We're done. The threat landed heavy. 3 years reduced to a warning. I stared at the red light in front of me, heart pounding. If I turn around right now, I thought, maybe this stays salvageable. If I go there, I might see something I can't unsee. The light turned green. I didn't turn around. When I pulled into Trevor's building garage 15 minutes later, my hands were shaking. I parked quickly and stepped out. The lobby was sleek, marble floors, modern art on the walls, a bored-looking security guard behind a desk scrolling on his phone. "Can I help you?" he asked lazily. "I'm here to see Trevor Grant." He glanced at a screen. "You a guest?" "Yeah." He hesitated. He didn't put anyone else on the list. My heart pounded louder. "I just need 5 minutes," I said. "It's important." The guard studied my face, probably seeing the panic I was trying to hide. "He's on the 27th floor," he said finally. "Don't cause a scene." I nodded and rushed to the elevator. As the doors closed, I caught my reflection again. Anger. Fear. And something darker. The elevator climbed slowly. Too slowly. Each number lighting up felt like a countdown. When it hit 27, my pulse was in my throat. The hallway was quiet. Too quiet. I found his unit number at the end. Lights were on under the door. I walked closer. Then I heard something. A thud. Then Madison's voice. "Stop." My blood turned to ice. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. I started pounding on the door. "Madison," I shouted. Silence inside. Then hurried footsteps. The door swung open suddenly. Trevor stood there, shirt half unbuttoned, irritation on his face. "What the hell is wrong with you?" he snapped. I tried to look past him. "Moved." "She's fine," he said, blocking the doorway. From inside, I heard her voice again. "Let him in." That wasn't nervous. That wasn't playful. That was scared. Trevor hesitated. For the first time that night, he looked uncertain. Then he stepped aside. I pushed past him into the apartment. And what I saw made my heart shatter in a completely different way. Madison wasn't crying. She wasn't bruised. She wasn't even disheveled. She was standing in the middle of the living room. Calm, composed, phone in her hand, and pointed straight at me. "Recording." My stomach dropped. "What is this?" I whispered. She didn't answer. Trevor closed the door behind me. And then Madison's expression changed. Not scared. Not nervous. Cold. Calculated. "You just assaulted him," she said evenly. "What?" "You forced your way into his apartment." "I heard you say stop." "I said stop because he was tickling me," she snapped. "God, you're insane." The room felt like it tilted sideways. "Tickling." Trevor adjusted his shirt casually. "You broke into my place, man," he said calmly. "Security footage caught you running up here." I stared at Madison. "You told me not to come." "And you came anyway," she replied. Her phone was still recording. My breathing grew uneven. "What is this?" I repeated. She lowered the phone slowly. "This," she said, "is what happens when someone can't control their jealousy." My brain struggled to catch up. "This isn't about jealousy," I said. "You sounded scared." "I wasn't," she shot back. "You just wanted to play hero." Trevor stepped closer. "You need to leave," he said quietly, "before this gets worse for you." "Worse?" I looked between them. Something clicked. Slowly. Painfully. The dollar. The humiliation. The hesitation. The texts. The warning not to come. The camera. This wasn't random. It wasn't reckless. It was staged. "You set this up," I said softly. Madison didn't blink. Trevor smirked faintly. "You humiliated me tonight," she said, "in front of everyone." I was humiliated. "You made it a scene," she interrupted. "You made me look cheap." My chest tightened. "So this is revenge?" I asked. Her jaw tightened. "You needed to see what you look like," she said coldly. "Like what?" "Like someone who cares. Like someone who doesn't want his girlfriend treated like a purchase." "You tossed $1 at me," I whispered to Trevor. He shrugged. "And you picked it up." The weight of those words crushed me. Madison stepped closer, her voice lowering. "You always act like you're above everyone, like you're better than these parties, better than him." I never said that. "You didn't have to." Silence filled the room. "You wanted drama," she continued. "Now you have it." And that's when I realized. This wasn't about safety. It wasn't about Trevor. It wasn't even about jealousy. It was about power. And I had just walked straight into their trap. The silence in that apartment felt heavier than any scream. I stood there, staring at Madison like I didn't recognize her anymore. 3 years. 3 years of shared mornings, inside jokes, plans about maybe moving to the suburbs one day, talking about kids like it was a distant but possible future. And now she was looking at me like I was the villain in her story. "You recorded this?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer right away. Trevor leaned against the kitchen counter, arms crossed, watching me like I was entertainment. "You forced your way into private property," he said casually. "That's not a good look." "I knocked," I shot back. I heard her say stop. "And I told you," Madison snapped. "He was tickling me." Her tone was sharp now, controlled, like she'd rehearsed this. I felt like I was suffocating. "You sounded scared," I repeated. She laughed, but there was no warmth in it. "You wanted me to be scared," she said. "That's the difference." That sentence hit differently. I stared at her. "What does that even mean?" "It means," she said slowly, stepping closer, "you've always needed to feel like the protector. The bigger man, the savior. That's not true. Isn't it? She challenged. You hate these parties, you hate guys like Trevor, you hate that I fit in here. That's not. You feel small here, she cut in. And tonight, when he threw that dollar, you felt exposed. I swallowed hard. She wasn't entirely wrong. But that didn't justify this. So your solution was to set me up, I asked. Her expression didn't change. You humiliated me first, she said. You made a scene. He tossed money at me and said he'd take care of you. And I stayed, she said. That was my choice. Trevor pushed off the counter and walked closer. You need to leave, he said, voice lower now, more serious. I looked at Madison one last time. Is this really who you are? I asked softly. For a second, just a second, something flickered in her eyes. Doubt. Then it was gone. You broke into his place, she repeated. That's who you are. The narrative was already being rewritten. I could see it happening in real time. I took a slow breath. Delete the video, I said. She tilted her head. Why? Because you know what this is. And what is it? She challenged. A trap. Trevor laughed. You sound paranoid. I looked at him. You planned this the second you threw that dollar. His smirk widened slightly. No one forced you to come here. That was true. They didn't force me. They baited me. And I ran straight into it. Madison stepped back, creating distance between us, like I was dangerous. Leave, she said quietly. Not angry. Not emotional. Just final. I felt something inside me collapse. Not explode. Collapse. Like a building that realizes its foundation was never solid. I nodded slowly. Okay, I said. Trevor looked surprised. Okay, he repeated. Yeah, I said calmly. You're right, I shouldn't have come. Madison frowned slightly, like she expected more resistance. More yelling. More proof for her video. But I didn't give it to her. I walked toward the door. Trevor followed a few steps behind me, probably making sure I didn't try anything. When I reached the hallway, I turned back once. Madison was still standing in the living room, phone in her hand. She looked powerful. In control. But there was something else in her posture now. Tension. I held her gaze for a long moment. You win, I said softly. And then I left. The elevator ride down felt different this time. Not panicked. Not frantic. Cold. Clear. Something inside me had shifted. Not anger. Not yet. Clarity. When I stepped outside into the Chicago night, the air felt sharper than before. I got into my car and sat there, staring at the steering wheel again. Only this time, I wasn't shaking. I was thinking. 3 years. And tonight, she chose humiliation over communication. Public power over private respect. She wanted me to look insecure. Unstable. Jealous. She wanted control of the narrative. Fine. I pulled out my phone. Opened Instagram again. Her story was still up. The clip in Trevor's car. But now there was another one. A selfie. Her face close to the camera. Trevor in the background, smirking. Caption. Some men can't handle confidence. My jaw tightened. Confidence. That's what she was calling it. The comments were already flooding in. Fire emojis. Queen. Upgrade. Know your worth. My chest burned, but not with jealousy. With realization. This wasn't about Trevor. Trevor was a tool. This was about image. Status. Validation. I opened my own phone gallery. Scrolled. There were dozens of photos of us. Trips to Michigan. Christmas at my parents' house. Her asleep on my shoulder during a long drive. Real moments. Unfiltered. Not staged. I felt something break quietly inside my chest. Then my phone buzzed. A text from her. Don't do anything stupid. I stared at it. I typed back. Like what? A few seconds passed. Then, Don't post anything, don't twist this. Twist this. I almost laughed. You already did, I replied. No answer. I leaned back in my seat and looked up at Trevor's building. 27th floor. Lights still on. They probably thought I'd go home and sulk. Maybe beg tomorrow. Maybe apologize for overreacting. That's what the old me would have done. But something about watching her hold that phone, watching her choose humiliation as a weapon, it changed something fundamental. I didn't want revenge. Not the dramatic kind. Not screaming. Not fighting. I wanted truth. And I knew something they didn't. Trevor liked to record things too. I'd seen it before. At parties. Private jokes. Drunk moments. He documented everything. And people like him. They never deleted. They archived. Saved. Collected. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I answered cautiously. Hello. A female voice. Soft, nervous. Hi, is this Madison's boyfriend? My heart skipped. Yes, who is this? A pause. My name is Alyssa. I didn't recognize it. I used to see Trevor. My grip tightened on the phone. Used to. He does this, she said quietly. The party thing, the jealousy thing. He pushes buttons until someone reacts. Cold realization crept in. What are you saying? I asked. I'm saying, she whispered, you're not the first. The city suddenly felt very quiet. And you won't be the last. I stared up at the 27th floor again. And for the first time that night, I wasn't the one being played. They had no idea what they'd just triggered. For a few seconds, I couldn't speak. Cars passed behind me. A siren wailed somewhere in the distance. Chicago kept moving like nothing had just shifted in my life. Alyssa, I finally said, keeping my voice steady, what exactly does he do? There was hesitation on the other end. He finds girls at parties, she said quietly. Usually ones in relationships, he flirts, he pushes boundaries, then he provokes the boyfriend. My jaw tightened. The boyfriend reacts, she continued. He records it, twists it, makes it look unstable, possessive, crazy. And Madison? I asked carefully. She knows, Alyssa said. The word hit like a punch. She knows, I repeated. He's been doing this for almost 2 years, Alyssa said. Some girls are just caught up in the attention. Some think it's funny. Some think it proves something. Proves what? That their boyfriend is insecure, that they can get a better guy, that they have options. Options. I looked up at the glowing windows again. You sound like you're speaking from experience, I said. A small, humorless laugh came through the phone. I lost my job because of one of those videos, she said. He posted a clip of my ex shoving him, didn't show the part where Trevor grabbed me first. My stomach dropped. He grabbed you? Yes. Silence settled between us. Do you have proof? I asked carefully. Another pause. I have screenshots, messages, videos he sent me bragging about it. My mind started racing. And why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I saw Madison's story, she said, and I recognized the setup. Same angle, same smirk, same script. Script. That word echoed. You think they planned tonight? I asked. Yes. No hesitation this time. They probably expected you to punch him, she added, or yell or lose control. I exhaled slowly. I didn't. I figured, she said softly, you left. How do you know that? I still follow him on a fake account, she admitted. He hasn't posted the big moment yet. Big moment? They're waiting, she said. They want something usable. A cold, sharp calm spread through me. For the first time that night, I wasn't reacting. I was observing. Send me everything you have, I said. Alyssa hesitated again. If I do this, she said, I don't want my name dragged into it. You won't be, I assured her. I promise. There was a long pause. Then my phone buzzed. Screenshots started coming in. Dozens. Videos. Clips of Trevor laughing with friends, about triggering insecure boyfriends. Text messages where he literally wrote, "Bro, it's so easy, just poke their ego." Another message, "If he swings, it's content gold." Content. My hands went cold. Then came something worse. A video clip. Trevor sitting on his couch, the same couch I just stood in front of holding up his phone. "She thinks it's about empowerment," he said in the clip, laughing. "It's about engagement." Engagement. Likes. Views. Humiliation monetized. I felt something solidify inside my chest. This wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't about masculinity. It was about manipulation. And Madison wasn't a victim. She was a participant. My phone buzzed again. A text from her. "Are you home?" I stared at it for a long moment. Then another message. "We need to talk tomorrow." Tomorrow. I typed back. "No, we need to talk now." 3 dots appeared instantly. "Don't come back here," she replied. "I'm not," I wrote. "Come downstairs." A full minute passed. No response. Then, "Why?" I looked up at the building again. "Because I'm done being part of your show." Silence. 5 minutes later, I saw movement in the lobby. Madison stepped out of the elevator alone. She was still in that red dress, still glowing under the lights. But she wasn't smiling now. She spotted my car and walked toward it, arms crossed. I stepped out to meet her halfway. The night air felt colder between us. "What are you doing here?" she demanded quietly. "Talking," I said. She glanced back at the building nervously. "Trevor doesn't like drama outside." I almost smiled. "Of course he doesn't." Her eyes narrowed. "What is that supposed to mean?" I held up my phone. "I know." Her expression shifted slightly. "Know what?" "I know this isn't the first time." A flicker. There it was again. That crack in the mask. "You're spiraling," she said quickly. "No," I replied calmly. "I'm connecting dots." She looked toward the entrance again. Then back at me. "You embarrass me tonight," she said through clenched teeth. "By not fighting him. By making it awkward. He threw money at me. And you made it bigger." I shook my head slowly. "No," I said, "you made it bigger." Her jaw tightened. "You forced your way into his apartment. And you were recording." Silence. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "Tell me something honestly. If I had hit him, what would you have done?" She didn't answer. Her eyes dropped for half a second. "That was enough." "You would have posted it," I continued. "Called me toxic, dangerous." "That's not true." "Then why was your phone already recording when I walked in?" She opened her mouth. Closed it. No answer. The city noise filled the gap between us. I took a slow breath. "I saw the messages," I said quietly. Her head snapped up. "What messages?" "From other girls." Color drained from her face slightly. "Who are you talking to?" she asked sharply. "Does it matter?" Her composure started to crack. "You're going through my stuff now." "I didn't need to." Silence again. Then something unexpected happened. She looked scared. "Not of me. Of something else." "You don't understand," she said, voice lower now. "It's not what you think." "Then explain it." She hesitated. "Trevor, he knows people," she said. "Influencers, brands, connections." I stared at her. "So this is about clout." "It's about opportunity," she snapped. "You think your 9-to-5 job is enough? I want more." There it was. Raw. Honest. Painful. "So you were going to use me as the jealous ex storyline?" I asked. Her silence answered. My chest tightened, but not with heartbreak anymore. With clarity. "You chose status over respect," I said quietly. "I chose growth," she shot back. "At my expense." She didn't deny it. That hurt more than anything. "I loved you," I said. She looked away. "Love doesn't build platforms," she whispered. And in that moment, I realized something devastating. I had been building a future. She had been building an audience. And tonight, I was supposed to be content. But they underestimated one thing. I wasn't the only one who kept receipts. And if Trevor thought I was just another insecure boyfriend in his collection, he was about to learn something new. The wind picked up between us, sharp and cold, whipping a strand of Madison's hair across her face. For a second, I saw her the way I used to. Vulnerable. Human. But then she tucked her hair behind her ear, straightened her posture, and the mask slid back into place. "So what now?" she asked quietly. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't apologetic. It was strategic. I looked at her for a long moment. 3 years of memories stood between us like ghosts. "I'm done," I said simply. She blinked. "Done what?" "Done being your storyline." Her jaw tightened. "You're overreacting again." I didn't argue. I didn't defend. I just pulled my phone out and pressed play. Trevor's voice filled the space between us. "She thinks it's about empowerment. It's about engagement." Madison froze. I watched the color drain from her face in real time. Another clip played. "Bro, it's so easy. Just poke their ego." She looked at me slowly. "Where did you get that?" "Does it matter?" I asked calmly. Her breathing changed. Faster. "You don't understand," she whispered. "No," I corrected gently. "I finally do." The entrance door behind her opened. Trevor stepped out. He spotted us instantly. His confident stride slowed when he saw Madison's expression. "What's going on?" he asked. I held up my phone so he could hear the next clip. "If he swings, it's content gold." For the first time that night, Trevor didn't smirk. His eyes darkened. "Where did you get that?" he repeated. I didn't answer. Instead, I did something neither of them expected. I opened Instagram. Not to watch. To post. Trevor took a step forward. "Don't," he warned. Madison's voice cracked slightly. "Please. Please." That word hadn't been in her vocabulary all night. I hit upload. A simple post. No insults. No rant. Just the video clip. And one caption. "Some men can't handle exposure." Trevor lunged forward, but I stepped back. "Too late," I said calmly. His jaw clenched. "You think this hurts me," he snapped. "You have no idea who I know." "Maybe," I said evenly, "but I know what you've done." Madison looked like she was about to cry, not from heartbreak. From fear. "Take it down," she whispered urgently. "You don't get it, he'll destroy you." I almost smiled. "That's the difference between us," I said softly. "I don't need to destroy anyone." The post was already gaining views. Rapidly. Trevor's phone buzzed in his pocket. He ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. He pulled it out. His face shifted slightly as he read something. Then again. Another notification. The narrative was flipping. Vast. People were tagging him. Commenting. Asking questions. Some recognized Alyssa's name when she anonymously commented under a burner account. "Ask him about 2024. Trevor looked up at me with something new in his eyes. Not arrogance. Not amusement. "Ray, you have no idea what you just started," he said quietly. I held his gaze. "No," I replied, "you did." Madison grabbed my arm suddenly. Her grip wasn't aggressive. It was desperate. "Delete it," she begged. "We can fix this." "Fix this." The words sounded foreign now. "Fix what?" I asked gently. "The relationship or the damage control?" She didn't answer. Tears finally welled in her eyes. Real ones this time. Not staged. Not filtered. "Please," she whispered. 3 years ago, that would have been enough to make me fold. Tonight it was. "I would have fought the whole world for you," I said quietly, "but I won't fight for someone who uses me as content." Her shoulders trembled slightly. Trevor stepped closer, trying to regain control. "This won't stick," he said sharply. "You have no proof it's about her." "I don't need proof about her," I said, Just you. And that was the truth. Madison wasn't exposed in the video. Trevor was. His own voice. His own strategy. His own ego. The notifications kept exploding. Trevor's follower count, I could literally see it dropping in real time. Madison looked between us like she was watching her future unravel. "You're ruining everything," she whispered. "No," I said softly, "I'm ending something." Silence fell between the three of us. Cars passed. The city kept breathing. Finally, Trevor spoke. "You think you won," he sneered. I shook my head slowly. This was never a game for me. And that's when it hit them. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't begging. I was calm. And calm men don't chase. They leave. I stepped back toward my car. Madison's voice cracked behind me. "Wait." I stopped. Not because she told me to. Because I wanted to hear what she'd say. She walked closer, tears streaking her makeup. "I messed up," she whispered. That hurt. More than the dollar. More than the video. Because it was honest. But it was late. "I know," I said quietly. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away immediately. But I didn't hold on either. "You said love doesn't build platforms," I reminded her gently. "Maybe not." Her lips trembled. "But it builds something better," I finished. She closed her eyes. "I'm sorry." The words were real. But so was the damage. "I hope you find what you're chasing," I said. And then I got into my car. Trevor was still standing there, phone in his hand, staring at the screen like it betrayed him. Maybe it did. As I drove away, my phone kept buzzing. Messages. Notifications. Friends asking what happened. Strangers tagging more clips of Trevor. Alyssa texted one final message. "You just saved more than you know." I stared at that for a long moment. Maybe I did. Maybe I just saved myself. When I reached our apartment in River North, it felt different. Empty. Quiet. But peaceful. I walked inside slowly. Her shoes were still by the door. Her perfume still lingered faintly in the air. 3 years reduced to silence. I picked up the framed photo on the shelf, us at Lake Michigan, wind in our hair, smiling like nothing could touch us. I didn't smash it. I didn't cry. I just set it face down. Because some chapters don't end with explosions. They end with clarity. Later that night, Trevor posted a statement. Context matters. But context was already out. Screenshots. Stories. More girls speaking up. The empire built on humiliation was cracking. And Madison. She never came home that night. The next morning, she texted. "I didn't think you'd choose yourself." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I replied with 3 simple words. I finally did. And for the first time in 3 years. I wasn't humiliated. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't reactive. I was free.